Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Azure for Sure Season 3. I'm really excited that we're starting this season with amazing episodes and the guests that are waiting behind the scenes. We stream this episode on every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Sometimes it's recorded, sometimes it's live. And this episode is actually recorded because the guests waiting behind the scenes are from very two different time zones. And I really had to do this episode because the topic that we're going to cover today is really great, and that is, oh, I think I have a green screen. Not sure I can show you. Okay, my friends in the community have written a really nice book. Ooh. Yeah, that is around Azure Pipelines. This is, I think, is very important in any of the organization and putting your apps into production. I mean, who needs a downtime? So to talk about that today, we have Piti and Roberto. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the live show.
Awesome. Thank you for having us, Simon.
Thanks, Roberto, and thanks, Pidi, for doing it. So let's quickly get started and tell the audience that, of course, you both are the authors of this amazing book that I have with me. Thank you for sending a copy to me. Let's get started with Roberto and talk about who you are, what you do, and then we'll move to Piti.
Absolutely. Thank you, Simon. I'm Roberto Mardeni. I am, by trade, I'm a software developer, software architect, DevOps guy, you name it. All of those things I've done in the past. But fortunately, for the last 6 years, I've been dedicating to the enterprise sales of Azure, actually being part of the Microsoft team and having to work with some of the largest customers out there, mainly ISVs, taking advantage of the cloud and the Azure technologies, amongst them CI/CD and DevOps and all the things that it has to offer. I'm based out of Miami, Florida, and that's me in a gist.
Wow, I didn't know you work at Microsoft.
I do.
Cool. It's good to know. How about you, Piti?
Yes, thanks, Simon. So I'm pretty jumpy Thong. Yeah, I'm Thai. So I'm based now. I'm based in Singapore. I'm a software developer before, and then I'm focused about the Azure specialism in the previous company, and right now I work with MongoDB based in Singapore. Yeah, so I just focus of the development and deployment, and also I just uh, the one who lead the community in Thailand in Microsoft and Azure and also DevOps. So yeah, so I work with the CI/CD pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks to both of you. A quick question, I'm throwing this. The very first question I'm going to ask is out of nowhere. Is how did you both meet actually? Because you both live in the other side of the world, 12-hour time zone. I mean, what's up?
Go for it, PT.
Sorry. Yes, because in that time when I start with wrote this book, I think that it would be good that have someone in my Microsoft to interesting to work together to write this book. That's why I talked to the publisher team. Then they will find Roberto to help me together. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically the pack team was able to put us together and work alongside to make this work happen. PT had a great head start on it. I came in to complete some parts of the book that obviously I was able to contribute and get it completed. But it was a great experience. It's my first writing a book. I don't know if PT you can say the same.
Yes, yes, the same.
Also,
Yes, the same way. Yeah,
it was definitely an experience.
yeah, yes. That's right. Yeah, experience.
So you
Yeah.
both means it's right to say that you both have not met each other, right?
Not in person, no.
No.
So, but you both have got on calls, right? Many times at least.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, okay, that's good. That's so nice. This is what I really love about even during the pandemic, right? We were meeting so many people virtually, and that gave a new opportunity for us to explore. So I'm gonna ask you both. Starting with this book is I know you both have a very good experience in this field, 20 years and all. So what actually inspired both of you to write book around CI/CD and specifically Azure pipelines? I mean, I personally, I'm not I'm 25 years old. So for me, CI/CD actually is more about GitHub Actions because that's where I really started, right? So and there are many other tools. So first, why did you choose CI/CD and why specifically Azure pipelines? Anyone could go. Vidya Roberto.
Okay, sure. Because of before I joined MongoDB, that I work with the software industry company, right? So focus the
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft partner, and then they use a lot of like Visual Studio Online and Azure. And that time that I found that I focused to develop the Azure pipeline for many customers, and I found that it seemed like a ecosystem with another Azure system DevOps like Azure board, Azure repository. So that's why I think that in that time, I I need to create, I mean, the pipeline too because of related to Azure, and I found that the Azure pipeline is easy too. That can make the CI/CD to develop and deployment all the application in cloud or on premise. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always good, right? If you're working on a product already, if you're working with customers, right, and then you have the hands-on experience, and then you end up writing it, right? So, Roberto, coming to you, right? Why did Pat reach out to you? I mean, you must be an expert in Azure pipelines, right?
So as I mentioned before, I had been doing all of those things before joining the Microsoft team, right?
Hmm.
I've been a software developer for more than 10 years on the architecture side, about 5 years, and then after that, you know what? I got I got interested in doing the CI/CD side of the house just because
Hmm.
I had done for so long the other activities that I wanted to kind of complement my skills. So I had dedicated at least a good 6 to 7 years on CI and CD specifically,
Hmm.
learning from other tools not as advanced as Azure DevOps back then. and then getting introduced into Azure DevOps and Azure Pipelines, just because it's been a product that has matured over the years, and at this point is a very mature product, very stable, very capable, has so many capabilities, and because of that maturity, right, it's that I felt confident about tackling this challenge of writing a book about it. Um, Obviously, as you mentioned, GitHub Actions is sort of like the new player, taking over some of the capabilities, and in fact, some of those capabilities are built based on the foundation of Azure Pipeline. So as it matures, it likely will support many and even more capabilities. But because Azure Pipelines was more mature, this was the one to tackle at this point. Many customers out there still rely on it because of its ability to tackle so many tasks and so many types of different scenarios and deployments and activities. So it's a very, very capable product.
Yeah, I can see the passion when you talk about it, right? I can definitely feel it when you both talk about Azure, pipelines. Thanks. I mean, I'm really loving this interview. So my next question to you both is, I was just going through the book and I saw there's a lot of screenshots, there are a lot of steps. So I think if I go ahead and get to read this book, I'll end up doing a lot of activities.
Mhm.
So so if I need to get started with Azure pipeline, do I need to add my credit card, create an account, get like Azure $200 credit? How does that work if someone is getting started with Azure pipelines?
Mm,
Peter, you can go
yeah,
or
yeah,
anyone.
okay. Yeah, okay. So actually, normally Azure Pipeline, you not need the credit card, just like subscribe by the email, and then
Mm-hmm.
you can start. You can create organize because of the Azure DevOps portal. They provide like a free tier for you, so you
Mm-hmm.
can start for experiment to do anything by limitation. So I think it's good to start to that.
And is it somehow anyway linked to your current Azure subscription or tenant that you have? No?
It can be,
Mm-hmm.
Simon. So it depends on how you decide to pay for it. There's a couple of mechanisms to do so. It can
Mm-hmm.
go directly to a credit card. It can go through an Azure subscription. So you have options. Um, as a individual user, you'll realize that you can actually take advantage of many things without having to start paying. But
Mm-hmm.
once you get more into the commercial side and actually building products that you're going to sell or work with other entities, you immediately need to start providing some ways of paying for those additional services, or for example, for unlocking the ability to do pipelines in parallel of running multiple things at the same time. So that's the gist there. But it's really easy to get started without having to pay anything.
Yeah, that's good to know that it's easy to get started, right? Because that's how you build POCs, right? I mean, hey, this is what we did. It works now. Let's go and start investing on it.
Yep.
Okay. So when I go ahead and read this book, or maybe when I see a hit packed book link online, what's going to be the target audience? Is it like for beginners, or is it for experts, or it covers the entire spectrum of developers? How does that work for this book?
Yeah, maybe I can to start. Yeah, okay. So that's this is it the beginner? I mean, it's like an entire beginner until expert that need to exchange some or just reskill or upskill in terms of understanding the CI/CD. But for beginner, it's too like we have like a chapter that to introduce what is CI/CD and how to start with the simple way until we have like many practical real world case. So I
Mhm.
think it's like a beginner until experience depth of developer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that is good. And I was just going through what will you learn at the back of the book, and it all of a sudden it says that where did that go? Where did that go? Implement CI/CD on Flutter-based mobile application. How does that come from? I've never seen anyone using Azure pipelines with the Flutter mobile applications.
Okay. Yes, maybe I can answer this one because of in my in my experience, I create a lot of the pipeline for the mobile team because of mobile team actually they develop by themselves and they deploy by itself, right? But as a team, we need to try to make like a centralized to build everything to deploy
Mm-hmm.
on the iOS or Google Play Store. So that's why I create this pipeline for many customer that use the mobile application to build and deploy and testing for each environment. Yeah,
Wow,
this
how
is
cool is that? That's really nice. Yeah.
And yet,
That,
and
that,
yet
that,
that's the beauty of it, Simon, that Flutter was used as a showcase, but the tool is
mm,
capable to use any other platform, right? This is just one of them. There's so many integrations available in Azure Pipelines. You literally can swap in one technology for another and still be able to work. So the concepts stay relatively the same because mobile apps, for the most part, are relatively same across the different marketplaces, but you can swap in and out different technologies. The same as if it was you're building web applications, desktop applications. It's very similar from that point on.
and this is lovely. I mean, every developer should know with the CI/CD, and when you guys talk about this Azure pipeline, that it can work with Flutter and also see some Kubernetes, AWS, whatnot. So this is really cool, and I think people should go out and check this book. I'm already loving it. So for the people who are getting started, Roberto and Preeti, who are new to the CI/CD, what are some of the concepts that they'll get to learn? Of course, building pipelines and all that. I get it. What are few two three concepts that they will learn, and it will be very helpful for them in the job or when they build deploy products.
So here's the thing. Obviously, as developers, randomly or seldomly, you actually get to interact with the aspects of building, packaging, and deploying software.
That's right.
Today, that is actually
Mm,
one of the foundational blocks that every developer should know, right? It shouldn't be considered anymore that it's an activity for DevOps exclusively, right? It should be a part
mm,
of any team that is building applications, that anybody should be able to accomplish these tasks, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to be agile, you want to be able to deliver value to your business as quickly as possible. So things like building, compiling an application, being able to test it, package it, and take that packaged application and being able to deploy it to all different environments while validating it, ensuring that it has quality, that it passes the sanity checks, that it's good enough to be deployed to production and not introduce many errors. And I say many because you know what, at some point anybody makes mistakes, right? It just
yeah.
goes out and it blows up. But you know what? That's the purpose of the pipelines, to give you the ability to say, hey, something went wrong, go ahead and go through the full cycle again so that you get that fix as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I really like, Roberto, when you said that you shouldn't be dependent on your, DevOps guys and girls to going do it. You should, we live in a world where you can just go ahead on internet, learn something, right? You should know entire life cycle of your project, right? Building it, deploying it, there's some errors or whatever. So I really like that approach, and I think modern developers in this age should be knowing all this stuff. So nicely said on that part. So let's say I am a developer, right? Or maybe I'm a team lead. I get my hands on this book. I really love this product. I start using Azure Pipeline, and I make POC. So how do I actually convince my leadership or my manager that, hey, I really liked it, and we should be moving or investing more time into Azure Pipelines? How does that work? Because at the end of the day, decisions follows money, or money follows decisions.
I say, typically try to start small, right? Try to
Mhm.
get something automated as quickly as possible. Not say, hey, I'm going to code an application and then I'm going to deploy manually the first time.
Mhm.
No, don't skip putting in the process to begin with, because what that's going to do is that it's going to give you speed to begin with. And
Mm.
if it gives you a speed, it gives you value immediately, because hey, how long does it take to deploy that app? You know what? It takes 2 minutes. The pipeline goes, does what it needs to do.
Mhm.
The product is out there. That's the beauty of it. So just from that part, you're going to immediately be able to sell the value of agility, right? And then is, well, how long does it take to deploy the next one? Guess what? It's the same amount of time, because you already have a pipeline.
Correct.
There's no delays. There's no oh, I have to deploy. No, you skip all of the things and rely on machines to do what they do best, which is repeat steps, right? Because you know that everybody sometimes clicks in the wrong place.
And I really like it. You streamline the process. It's like you have written a playbook of deploying your deploying your products, and it just works every time. I mean, you may face some problem here and there, but you have saved a lot of your time, and you streamlined the process.
Mhm.
Anyone can come and also look at it, look at your pipelines, and get things rocking. Rolling. So let's move to the next one. I was just reading some of the chapters of the book and then realized that you have some real world case studies, right? So why don't we minute talk about it? I mean, what are some of the examples that you guys are talking that book? What some real case scenarios that you're covering that people will get to learn when they read this book?
Pete, you want to start?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, in term of the example that for example, if you develop the Flutter mobile application, right, in just
Hmm.
case, and then normally you need to you have normally you have divide by three environments like UAT or SIT or production, right? So actually, if you do like if you do manually, I think it's like a waste of time a lot and repeatable a lot of time. So that's why we do that. We just like create the pipeline because of the mobile application like a Flutter. It's like we need to deploy on uh, Apple Store and Google Play Store in the same time too. So it's
Mhm.
like not only three environment, but it's like need to calculate multiply by two store, right? So we have to like a test flight or beta test for Google Play. So that's why we if you do like a pipeline, then you push the code and you just go to the environment for the tester first, and then they test everything, and then we have someone can click approve, and then boom, it's go to another environment for like a UAT test, and then after we can approve and go to another environment. So each environment can separate for testing about the Google Play or App Store test flight. So this is the way the real case that we try to make automation in the flow, and you can check and everyone in the team can see the problem issue or not, and to make and like a leader to can make the approve like say, oh, if we can go to the next environment. So the DevOps, as you know, is like the culture that we try to make the same page and learn together to deployment successfully in the target in destination. Yeah, so this is the case, the one case. Yeah.
Yeah, how
And,
cool is that? Yeah,
and we went on to expand on that as well, right? Nowadays, you have teams, as you can see, PTME, all over the world, right?
yeah,
But the same way as we are all over the world, we also have different tastes, right? And different teams can have different needs for different programming languages, different stacks, right? And they can all freely use whatever it is that they want, because at the end of the day, heterogeneous applications is sort of like the norm when you're talking about distributed systems that are modern, right?
hmm,
You can have APIs running somewhere. You can have the mobile app. You can have different clients. You can have the backend systems in different places. Now, all of this needs coordination, and that's where pipelines really shines because it's able to stitch all of these things together. Now, try to do that manually, right? It becomes a hassle. So that's
yeah,
why putting the pipelines to begin with, it reduces that complexity to something that is a well-established process that is repeatable, that reduces, and I'm not going to say eliminate completely, and it reduces the chances for things to go wrong. So that's an incredible advantage that everybody should have in their arsenal.
yeah. I think everyone should know CI/CD. It doesn't just have to be Azure Pipeline. This could be anything. It could
Anything.
be your even old products that have been in the market for a while now. You should know a CI/CD. I think it is very important these days. I cannot imagine any application being deployed with some downtime. Like, hey, we are down for like 6 hours.
Mhm.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So I'm gonna ask you both a second final question, then we'll kind of wrap it up because we're already at 21 minutes. I was going through a chapter and it said, and you're talking about infrastructure as a code, right? I mean, I understand it, but covering in this book was really nice. So, what exactly are you guys talking here in this book about infrastructure as a code, and what will people get to learn?
Absolutely. Um, you have different flavors of what that is, but in essence, it's
Mm-hmm.
being able to codify the way that you deploy resources, and especially in the cloud. All right, different cloud
Mm-hmm.
providers different have different ways of doing automation for how you deploy and configure resources where your applications are going to run. That's basically just codifying all of that and making it part of a repository. Right, same as you have your code for your app. Now you have codified the steps that deploy those resources. That gives you the ability to not only describe what your infrastructure looks like, but also make it real easy in terms of changing it from one day to the other and keeping track of what those changes are.
Yeah, I like when you say keeping track of changes, right? Let's say today I decide I'm gonna move my virtual machines from East Coast to West Coast, but a week later I'm like, no, I want to roll back, right? So I can just go and make one of look my commits or wherever you're doing it, and roll back to my
Correct.
previous changes. So yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that part. So finally, right, where can audience find more about this book? Where can they get this book, and what are some of the additional resources that you have in this book that people can learn?
So you're gonna find throughout the book. Go ahead, PD. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, yes. This I think is it's like normally you can learn more additional in the website Microsoft Learning. So
Mhm.
Microsoft Learning they have like a resource about the Azure DevOps, and also in the website Microsoft you can find like a uh, like a practice yourself your skill like a called apply skill set. So it's talk about how to implement the Azure DevOps pipeline too. So this is like I mean more additional resource that you can learn more about. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and alongside the book, you'll find that we have a companion GitHub repository with all the samples, so you can
Mhm.
follow along. Even if you try to do these steps and somehow you make a mistake or you don't get it to work, you can find the completed solutions in that repository, so that you can compare and see, okay, how is it that it gets done in its entirety. So a lot of resources and a lot of links throughout the book.
Yeah, I did see that. I think when you read first two pages, they tell you that these are the repositories, these are all you can get it. So that is really nice. So yeah, we're coming towards the end of the interview, right? Before I wrap it up, right? What are some of your memories writing this book? Roberto getting mad at Pity not getting on call on time. Are there any fun memories that you guys want to share? Anything that you guys can recall? Um,
Pretty good.
Uh, I'm not sure that what I can say, but
it's
it's
okay.
No, I
yeah,
think the interaction was fairly straightforward, Simon.
yeah,
If I'm gonna mention one thing is that it brought me back to the old days in which I actually had to uncover some techniques in order to be able to make some of the samples for this repository possible, and using some new tools. So a couple
Mhm.
of new tricks that are available to work with some of these containerization technologies on premises, meaning on premises on your workstation, or not necessarily having to work in the cloud to make things work in the
Mhm.
cloud. So a few of those things are also mentioned throughout the book. So a few tips and tricks for people to actually get up to speed real quick and real easy.
Yeah, I really love it. I think this is a book one could read maybe in about 2 to 3 weeks, right? And it's very hands-on. So if you go ahead while you read, don't just read it. This is not a book that you would read it actually. This is a book that you would keep next to it, right? Create an account on Azure Pipelines, follow the steps, and you'll really have hands-on experience. And I really like on how you have highlighted everything in the screenshots and this and that. So go ahead and everyone grab a copy of this book. You'll find all the links in the description and when we put it on social media. Thank you, Roberto and Piti, doing it. I know it's very late and it's very early for someone. So I really enjoyed hosting you both. Congratulations for writing this book. And yeah, any final words that you want to guys say? Then we'll just wrap it up. Anything final you guys want to say?
Thank
Like,
you. Thank you so
all
much for
right.
the
Yeah.
opportunity,
yeah,
Simon, for being
yeah.
here.
All right. All right.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone. See you.